All right, we are back. Quantum Show Part 2. I'm expecting people to come in, so earbuds. And, excuse me, I'm got to go through the setup again. I got to get the link, Facebook and YouTube. Let me see here. And I got to do this and that and wait. All right. And I got to get the show monitor going. That's me in a Bigfoot shirt. See? Yeah, it's awesome. Okay. That is my show monitor. Interesting setup. I have a degree in this. I should know better. I should know how to do all this much better. I should know how to do all this much better. But now I've got to get the link going on. Okay, let me see here. Another link to Facebook and Twitter. It was so cool. Amy showed up. Rich showed up. See, I think she's coming back. Several people from GUFON showed up. All my favorite people. Okay. Now I'm just adjusting to Facebook and Twitter. And let's go to part 2. First opened up. Makes sense. Save some of them cycles. And if someone shows up, I'll let them talk while I adjust the show. Or I might just wait till after everything to do any kind of adjustment. All right. I love that thumbnail of me in armor. So cool. Okay. I hear myself. We'll see. If I can't hear anybody, I'll let everybody know. All right. Let's see, there's that. And Twitter. Show me Twitter. Yeah, the first hour, it looks like it's going to be a monologue of things, the show topics that I want to talk about. Just me think and pick it apart and come. I think of everything, you know? Nobody can. New eyes. All right. Part 2. Twitter is posted. Okay. Now, I think we have someone here. It might be Dorothy. I got my quantum refill. Oh, yeah. Here's what we do. Here's what I'm going to do. I've got to refill my quantum electricity. Tastes like disclosure. That's going to make a hell of a short. That one's for you, Amy. Oh, sorry about that. That was total right in the microphone. Oh, I'm such a horrible podcaster. I slurped. I'm not even going to say it. I did make a noise. Can everybody hear me okay? Am I coming through okay? Mike said it was working. And let me know. Sorry about that. The coffee drink. Yeah, that was bad. Bad podcaster. Okay, I sound good. How'd you like my little alien girl commercial? I thought it was pretty funny. That seductive look. Tastes like disclosure. Okay. As soon as I get one from Rich, it'll be tastes like a goosh or something like that. I don't know. And spray it all over myself. A goosh. But okay, now I'm primarily waiting for people to come in. And I think I can get Joe to come in. He was here a little while ago. I just need to send him the link directly because I don't know. My situation, his computer, webcam, monitor, phone monitor, watching on cell phone, right? And, and I'm using webcam connected to computer, talking. Bro, it's a sleeper. Best mic. How do I sound? Do I sound good? Amazing. Logitech. Okay. So sending it to Shadowed Sun. He knew I was going to do a first hour. Sending it to Honjo. And like sicker and said, "What if someone cash out you?" I'm like, and I was like, he's like, "What? No, it's not a scam. It's a small gift." And it's a scam. It's all over Google. Sorry, dude. Not interested in your small gift. And I was just like, ignore. I can't do it. I'm not gonna. I can't believe this dude is doing that. Lack of sleep is catching up to me. I'm not. Yes, I don't know what happened there. I had a black screen come up, and 10:23 p.m. Was that the last thing that you heard me say? Okay. Well, there was some paranormal humor gold in there, and I can't remember it without going back. So I don't know if you missed it or not. I glitched. Don't know why. Hooray for technology. So I've got people on the invite, and yeah, um, everything's fine. That is the link to watch the show. Let me see the link to. I need the link to join the show. Where am I at? Okay. Okay. Link to join the show. All right. I want to expound on. Oh, come on. I know it was up there. I think I might have a fever. This is crazy. I haven't had a fever in years. What's going on? Uh, okay. The to join link is being put to Shadow and Joe like a thumb screw. Yeah. Y'all, fever. I got to get some leave. I really do. What do I got going on here? Tim, glad you could make it, man. I know you've had a hell of a time the last little while. Glad you could come in, bro. Appreciate it. Timothy Stafford, everybody. Okay. And I have to take 5. Let me see. What can I do? Nothing. I got nothing. I want to leave a Okay. Okay. I got to be right back. I got to take something for fever. Oh my God. What is going on? Because, love you too, bro. I don't want to fall out in the middle of my own show. Other people's shows, maybe, not mine. Coming back, coming back. Okay, I had to step away for a moment because I realized I am developing a fever. I sent you a link to join the show. Let me. Okie doke. I sent you a link to join the show. Joe, let me see if you're knocking on the door. Not yet. Okay. Um, yeah. Because you're part of it, Joe. You are part of the quantum entanglement that formed me as I am now. And that is no small deal to me. So you're always welcome on. People are calling this a panel. The only panel, I don't got panels. I got panels like on the walls, panels in the kitchen, panel. They're held up with like glue and screws, panel. There you go. Panel joke. Quantum panel joke. I have sent you the link on Facebook to join the show. Joe, come on in if you want to. That's cool. I know there's a big lag. And it's easier to send the link outside of this chat room because that way nobody else can just jump in, because one show I had somebody come in and they were just crowding. They weren't doing anything. The camera was off and I could hear background noise. And I was like, nope, not going to, this is not going to happen no more. But yeah, what I left off with was Thanksgiving, the holiday in the United States, is a ritual and it is quantum reality based. And okay, you tell people quantum reality, they think advanced physics, which has been doing this for hundreds of years. Magical practitioners of all kinds have been doing applied quantum physics for hundreds of years because we realize what the soul is. The soul is our little part of reality that is actually in sync with all the rest of reality. And so people form cults. Other people who don't realize that they're part of that reality follow the cult. And it becomes things like royalty and lodges. So, yeah, all that. And I might sound sarcastic or like I'm putting a bad spin on it. I'm not. A lot of people have to be told what the deal is. They don't get it. And the ones that do, like me, have this much understanding of it because it's really complicated. Linear time does not matter, right? Linear time does not matter. And I'm realizing that. So, yeah, I mean, like you ask, if you're in touch with your spirit guide, you ask them to go do something, they'll do it right now, regardless of distance. They can, I've had Xena deliver messages back and forth, right? From me to someone to back to me. And it was accurate. Totally accurate. In Muggle world, it's the craziest shit ever, right? But in the world of quantum reality, it's an email or it's courier, you know, they're already there. They're there and they're here. So they don't have to go anywhere. They just say, they turn their head. Hey, you, I got a message from this guy. I mean, if they will do that, they are not servants. And I've been instructed to tell everyone we are not pets of the spirit guides. I should not uh, refer to us as pets when talking about spirit guides. We are not the pets. We're totally pets. Purr for your spirit guide. Be nice to your spirit guide. Thank them. Tell them you love them unconditionally. They can screw your world up by letting karma happen, or they could craft it into something that would be helpful. And it depends on how you're behaving. They have guidelines. I'm learning this, not the hard way, thankfully. Okay, do I have anybody here still? It says I got 5 people watching and 2 more subscribers needed to make 600. Not that I'm going for anything, right? But yeah. Oh boy. Yep, I have developed a fever. This is not fun. I took a lead. Hopefully the fever will go away very soon. And I gotta make some noise here. Okay. All right. I am coming up as Sound is good. Sound is good. I don't think my live chat is working. Let me refresh it. Because I'm not seeing anything on the new chat. Nothing's popping up. I had a show glitch. Show me live chat. Show me live chat. Show me live chat. All right. Okay. Part 2, Quantum Show. Thanksgiving is a ritual for the United States. Let me just go from there. How long have I been on? How long has this thing been going on? 20 minutes. Okay. But yeah, when you got millions of people saying thank you for something they don't have, reality says, oh, we got a deficit. We have to fill that deficit. We have to make the numbers match on both sides. We have to get to equilibrium. So I'm going to make a call. I'm reality. I'm going to make a call. I'm going to say, hey, angels, spirit guides, higher beings, we got quotas. We got them quotas to go. Fill them. Here, I'm going to forward you all these receipts that were sent to me on Thanksgiving of 2022. And when you get working on those as much as spiritually possible, get on it. You got this. Go. And reality goes back to, I don't know, eating ice cream. Says, I got this. Reality goes, I got this. Oh, yeah. They love me. That's reality. Hello, Connor. All right. I'm going to send you, well, I'd have no other way but to send it to you in the chat. So where it, James L, I guess the Shadow Show has, yeah, Shadow Show has let out. Okay. Let me go ahead and post this in there. For Cigar DM and James L coming in. Link is posted. I'm going to turn face off now because it's not doing me any good. And go over to StreamYard. Wait for people to knock on the door. Yeah. James L, Cigar DM. Y'all come on in. Link is in the chat. I guess I'm going to be talking about ritual. And I will give the highlights to the Ghost Busted from first hour. Okay. I'll give the rundown, right? Okay. All right. You're not ready to come in? No problem. You get to listen to me talk about quantum and jokes. You should have heard the one. You should have heard the one a few minutes ago. It was awesome. Everybody was cracking up on a quantum level. I even did a commercial. It was freaking amazing. I mean, there was like glitter and lasers and sharks with lasers on their freaking heads. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Shadow and Sun coming in.
What's happening, man? How much did we miss?
I did a first hour, and it was just me talking about Ghostbusted, and I got who's Jim? James? Okay.
James, there's going to be a bunch of people coming over from my show. Oh my God! Every time I see you, man, you got a totally new look.
Yeah.
As bad as this sound, I'm kind of curious what he would look like with the Charlie Chaplin beer.
Snap. I thought you were a new guy.
Well, you know, as someone who used to love to pretend to be a Nazi to annoy people, you shouldn't pretend to be a Nazi to annoy people. Eventually,
I said Charlie Chaplin. I said Charlie Chaplin. I did not say Nazi.
I think that guy's an actual Nazi. So no, we won't be doing any of that. No moustache, none of that.
Well, Jackie's one of Jackie's best friends actually went as Charlie Chaplin at school, and I'm pretty sure everybody thought he was Hitler.
See, that's just ignorance.
We need
Welcome
to
California
California.
education.
I'm worried about the
Yeah.
future. Hey, I got some 15 mil to show you, Shadow.
Okay, let's see him.
Yeah, alternative armies, and this is going to be painted in a Brotherhood paint scheme.
Okay, I like it. I like it.
Yeah, see, a bit of a marine with a sword. Yeah,
That's cool. You're gonna. Did you see my? No, you didn't because I didn't air it yet. That's right. God, I'm an idiot. I did that dungeon idea with the chess set, and I'm gonna upload that video later tonight, I guess. Where it's the 15 mil miniatures, and then later on in this week, Connell will be doing our chess set video. Thanks to you. That's why you needed to watch our announcement video, because this whole month is our crafts are going to be chess related and fantasy conglomerations of the two genres.
Makes sense. I really quick, I want to go back to what Nathan was talking about, how Thanksgiving is a ritual. I completely agree. I didn't understand what Thanksgiving was until I moved back to the States, because in Ireland we don't have, Thanksgiving. I don't want to say it's American holiday because other countries have a variation of it, but Thanksgiving is very much, you sit around with family, enjoy a meal, you maybe watch Charlie Brown. You do whatever your family traditions are for Thanksgiving. And I think it is a ritual in the pretense that you are giving thanks to the ancestors of your family who started here in America and where your family is now.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what I have to say. I'll shut up now.
Okay. I'm glad you have an answer for that for yourself. That's awesome. That's the cover story. That is totally the cover story. It works for that because it can. That's the cover story. That's how we got it to the public. Look, okay. Did you see the first hour? Y'all were busy, right?
Yeah. I normally will jump in. Then after we were done, I'll watch the first hour after I get off, so I know what that sounded weird.
Okay, yeah. All the founding fathers, all the people who created Thanksgiving as a holiday, they were all culty, and I'm saying it flippantly, but talking Masons and the people who were there founded Knights of the Golden Circle, and just, you name it. Secret societies and cults have been a part of American, or not American, but human history since we've had human history, since we've had humans. Because there's always been somebody who had the quantum awareness and those that don't. And somebody has always had the truth. But it does work for that. What you said. Thanks for where you came from, where you've been, where you're going, the where you're going part. It's the where you're going part. You know, law of attraction.
Yes.
Okay. In brief, law of attraction is saying thank you for something that you want as if you already have it. Right?
Right.
Okay.
It's like the secret. You're talking about the secret, right?
Right. The secret. Also known as law of attraction.
Right.
Right? Tracking? We tracking? Okay, we're tracking.
Absolutely.
And when you say thank you for something, and it's no mystery why it's right near Christmas. Okay? Because capitalism. I'm sorry, capitalism has soured everything. It's put a price tag on everything that is really important. Okay, but going back to Thanksgiving, what do we have? Sacrifice. Turkey. That's something about a turkey. The turkey was a convenience. They were already eating turkeys all over the United States. Turkeys was a staple. It was like regular food, right? They just said, oh, well, we'll make this turkey the the sacrifice. And then they said, okay, well, we'll have a ceremony. What kind of ceremony will we have? What religion are you? And they just pick one, go with anything you got, sit around a big table, pray, ritual. There you go. And okay, what's that?
Oh, James, I didn't think you were a heavy drinker.
I'm not a drinker at all, but I feel like one.
Okay.
Are you? Oh, you're not a drinker. Are you?
Not really. Not really. Like maybe a few times a year. But
Okay.
I'll have one. But like today is one of those times.
I almost want you to. The few Australians I've met while I was in college, well, then granted, we were all in our 20s. They were nothing but drinkers, and they gave me a run for my money, which is hard to do.
Yeah, that'll do.
I can't keep up with British anybody. I am such a lightweight nowadays. But
Yeah,
that's enough. That's enough.
that's enough. Did you drink it out of the bottle?
No,
No,
he just he took
that.
He poured himself a shot. He took a sip of it. Yep, nope, I'm good. Thank you for coming out.
You had me worried there for a second, James. You had me worried there for a second. I'm like, you okay, man? Everything all right? Over there, you had me worried, man.
Other than beer,
I got a lot of interesting stories, a lot of urban exploration stories, but
Awesome.
yeah, but we'll get into that later in the we'll get into that later in the show. We'll keep going with what we're going with.
Well, that's what I was talking about. And Ghost Busted, I went back over there because it was getting to them. It's still not haunted like he says it is. There is some activity. I went over there. Okay. Now, if y'all know anything about pagan ritual, I went over there, salt, 2 kinds of crystals, power candle. I was meditated up, and I was loaded for spiritual bear. And I walked in there, Xena, Sabrina, going like this, like them cats on that old cartoon. Not really. And yeah, and there was nothing. There's still nothing because I turned up all the cameras and mics, and I said, okay, and I set up my laptop with Notepad. Spirits don't need networking. They don't need it. So I was like, okay, if there's anybody in here, I said it mentally. I was meditated up. I said it clearly. I said it vocally. Nothing. I was like, okay. Oh, and ironically, 5 minutes after I left, I plugged up the cameras, got everything back to being secure. He calls me, says it started. I'm like, yeah, go figure. Because a gamer ain't going to play a game where you can't see the screen. It's a hack, not a ghost. There is activity, but TV's not part of it. They've been listening to him, and I thought that it had gotten some very privileged information. It was not privileged information. General record search.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought it was, but it wasn't. General record search turns up the same information. It was just very hard hitting for him. And I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. Also not sorry. This is not a spirit. You're being played. And I was like, okay, packed it up. Didn't get no evidence, nothing whatsoever. And a power candle. I don't know if y'all know what this is. I anointed it, right?
Right.
With
Gotcha.
General power. I lit it. And I said, this is for you. This is for you. And I took a piece of crystal and I said, this is my amplifier. And I put it next to the power candle. Yeah, we can talk about crystals if you want, but I'm going to leave it at that for now. And I said, okay, this is for you too. And I got Shingo came up, and I didn't realize. Okay, Shingo got me this, right? And he said, something just told me to get it. And I was like, well, thanks, man. And I went up and I was like, thanks, man, appreciate it. I hadn't messed with it until I was talking to somebody and says, do you have any amethyst? I'm like, wait, do I? Yes, I do. And this has been energized with me, and I was wearing it. So this is spiritual amplification. Like quartz is kind of like a general energy processor. You can tell it to do what you want it to do. This one is better at some things than others.
I think crystals definitely do have some kind of magnetic energy about them, for sure. Like, you feel it.
Okay, you know what? Magnetic is one thing. Go ahead. Y'all can fight over it. Go ahead.
Oh, I just always thought that they had some kind of spiritual significance, because I always feel kind of drawn to them. You know what I mean? Like when I was a kid, I used to collect gemstones and rocks.
Same here. Well, I mean, just if you think of the simple fact that we actually use them for technological purposes, okay? Well, maybe there's something a little bit more to it than just that.
Yeah. I mean, I used to love that stuff. I mean, even now when I am starting to get into basing some of these models, like that I'm working on, like I'm putting like carnelians and stuff on the base just because it looks cool, you know, like.
Right. Yeah, Crystal's got it going on. And before we continue on with Crystal talk, because I do want to get into it, what weird happened? Connell, you go first. You're being awfully quiet. I know this is woo territory.
I have a tattoo on my arm. Weird. Hear me? Okay. I have a tattoo of an evil eye on my right shoulder. It's something I picked up from a Romanian side. I normally don't see them around in Central Illinois. It's not exactly, a huge thing around here. But everywhere I went today, there was an evil eye on a sticker on a car, on a building. I'm like, when did Peoria get ransacked by a bunch of Romanians? If it did, that's awesome. But it was just kind of, why so many, so this has got to mean something. And I don't know what it means as of yet, but I'm still letting it work itself out before I come to any, I don't want to say judgment, but any decision.
Conclusion?
Yeah. I feel my grandma presence. I always feel her presence roughly around this time of the year anyways.
Okay.
So it could be her or just coincidence. Yeah, I can't say that word.
No. It doesn't even exist here. It's quantum entanglement. Go ahead and subtract it from your vocabulary. Man, what a weird quantum entanglement that is. Go ahead, practice. Fair. Go ahead.
What a weird quantum entanglement that is.
Quantum entanglement.
Man.
There you go. Okay. All right.
I need to drink more before I go on the show.
Coffee.
Well, that's partly why I had a little bit of Southern comfort, because I do have some pretty cool, weird stories to tell.
Okay, well, mine is kind of lame, so I'll let you go next. What?
Sure.
Share with the classroom, buddy.
Yeah, go ahead. You go next. Mine is lame, and Shadow has already yielded the floor.
Okay. I'll tell you 3 stories from Melbourne, from my time living in Melbourne, that came back to me the other day, and I realized how weird they were. The first one, I was out at a friend's birthday. I'd had a bit too much to drink. I needed to get home. There were no cabs around. It was pouring rain. And this old clapped out Italian car pulls up beside me, and a little old man is driving it. And he goes, "Where you going?" In broken English. And I said, "Brunswick." So he gives me a lift because he's going in the same direction. And he's telling me I've been out having a drink, blah, blah, blah. I was, having a chat with him. And then he said, oh, yeah, I lost my license years ago. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he goes, yeah, I'm driving without a license. I don't give a damn. They'll never catch me. And I said, why is that? And he said, well, I lost it years ago. And I said, I want to get out of the car because I was more or less where I needed to be anyway. He was like, all right, no worries. So he lets me out. And I kind of get my head together and I turn around and he's gone. No sound, nothing. No sign that he was there.
That's a
no
good
sign
one.
that he was ever there.
That's a really good one. Do you remember what he looked like?
Yeah, he's a little old kind of Southern European guy. Like a little old grandpa.
Okay. And he was driving an Italian car?
Yep, with a flat cap.
With a what?
He had like a flat cap on. Like an old school.
You mean?
Yeah, paperboy. Like a paper.
Yeah, like a baker boy hat. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like what Jade wears. What Jade wears.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he just disappeared.
That is a great story. Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming on to the chat. Appreciate it. Welcome to the Quantum Show. It is exactly what you think it is. Love that tagline.
Story number 2.
It's called.
So Costco was coming to Melbourne, and this was a big deal for some reason, right? As these things often are. And they started building the shopping center there, and you could use part of it. And it's kind of down near the docks. And they had a processing center out the back. And I was visiting a friend of mine who lived in that part of town. And I decided to walk home the next day. So I stayed overnight. And, I thought, I'll get some exercise in. So I walked through the industrial area and around the docks of Melbourne, probably at about dawn, very early in the morning, because I couldn't really sleep. And there I see the big Costco building with the big refrigerated processing center at the back. And surrounding it, digging in and out of the ground around the building and coming from underneath the roller doors and the pylons were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of white rabbits.
That's bizarre as hell.
Yeah.
I got.
You're muted, Nathan. You're muted.
Oops. I mute myself because I think I'm going to make noise while somebody else is talking.
I mean, hand on the Bible, I was as sober as a judge. Like, it was early in the morning. I was walking home.
Such an interesting saying, sober as a judge, because the two judges I know are never sober.
Yeah, they don't mind
Tennessee
Sorry.
judges either.
Did this make the papers or anything, or nobody mentioned it? No. Wow.
Nobody believed me when I told them.
Oh well, I believe you.
You know what they say about adrenochrome?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Follow the white rabbit.
Yep.
Oh boy. Okay.
I always thought that was a heroin thing. No, that's Chase the Dragon. I'm sorry. I'm wrong.
You're right. Great Steely Dan song, by the way.
Story number 3. I've got one last one. It's even weirder still. A friend of mine was an urban explorer, and he used to love taking kind of edgy photos in kind of rundown areas, you know, get all the texture and stuff and develop the film and bring out all the different, you know, he was just kind of playing around with the texture of old buildings and stuff like that, just kind of for fun, his own enjoyment, and going to places that you weren't really supposed to be breaking into, and, you know, old asylums, chemical plants, that kind of thing. So he found one not far from where I saw the rabbits, and he broke in, and there was like a crawl space, and he goes through the crawl space into an antechamber, and in there's like wooden floorboard and an old iron bed, and there's bedding on there, and it's filthy. And in front of the bed are about 20 perfect condition, spotlessly clean pairs of women's shoes.
Oh, that has a vibe to it. Keep going.
He got the hell out of there.
He got the video, right?
He got the hell out of there. Oh, he was taking photos. Yeah, he showed me the photos. It was terrifying. They were like high heels, like expensive high heels in this filthy, empty room where someone had obviously been living.
Yeah. Did you see pictures of the mattress?
Yeah. Yeah.
What
it had like white it had like white bedding on it. White kind of silky bedding, but it was kind of like yellow with age kind of thing. And there wasn't, because this was inside like an old brickwork, basically. Like this wasn't residential, you know. Basically like a, you know, late 19th century, early 20th century building. So, you know.
God damn, dude. That sounds like a vampirus or succubus lair. You know what I mean? Some sort of foul, prostitute-y sort of female demon-esque sort of thing. You know, it sleeps there, then gets up, and you know what I mean?
Well, I won't comment on any of the three encounters, but that's why when I recalled them, I realized they would be good to share, but that's why I had a drink. And I don't normally drink.
Yeah. I can imagine the stress from seeing those pictures, because damn.
Yep.
Wow.
It's the shoe.
Did he do anything pass? Go ahead.
It's either, I mean, I'm trying to look at this from both sides of the line. Either there's some kind of spook there that has a thing for shoes that might have been something in his past life, has a fascination with shoes, or some weirdo has a really weird shoe fetish and decided that it was going to be his treasure hold up. I'm trying to look at it from both sides. I really,
or you've got a woman who's really down on her luck, and that's, you know, where she's hanging out.
There was literally nothing in there except this old cast iron bed and the shoes and bedding. Nothing else.
So this was a brick house. This wasn't an asylum or anything. This was just some brick.
It was an old brickworks.
Yeah, because a squatter would have other.
It's a dungeon.
But the shoes looked brand new, and they were like sparkling kind of thing. They were like apparently quite expensive, you know, looking shoes, and there were like 10 pairs of them or something, lined up perfectly in front of the bed.
Freaky.
Yeah, I think I'm with Grim on this one. I'd be calling the law, because either way, something not right is going on. It being
he he just he like snapped his SLR and then he bolted. You know what
Oh
I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. I mean, I honestly, I think that's I think that's the most brilliant thing you could do. Oh wait, shit. Spider senses going off. It is time for me to go.
Oh.
Oh my.
Okay. All right. Astrology calls. No problem. Well, you got to
I'm
go
never
right
gonna
now.
live that down.
You are the resident astrologist. You got a hat and everything. I got it on paper. I wrote it down. It's quantum.
This is why I drink. Not really.
Hey, yeah, wow. I mean, I'm trying to think, the rabbits, that's, someone's just going to say, the skeptic is just going to say rabbits just happened to be living there. They had a huge, community, and Costco just interrupted it.
Yeah, they're all identical, like laboratory animals.
Right, like yeah,
like white with red eyes.
Twist on it.
White with red eyes.
Okay, well, Connell, you got to take off. You just said.
No, that's not what I said.
Spice senses
there was
you have to leave.
There was something very inorganic going on there. Let's just put it that way.
No,
Okay,
I'm good. I'm good until you kick me out.
Okay, well, I'm not going to kick you out for nothing. Yeah, I thought you said yours. Oh, wait a minute. Do we got Joe coming in? I'm sorry, Joe. I didn't see you there.
I mean, living in Illinois, and knowing a little bit of Illinois history, we have like H.H. Holmes, John Wayne Gacy. These, so there's been a lot of crazy people. I'm trying to keep my language, PG-13, trying to.
Well, we appreciate R-rated. If you got to, we can do R-rated.
But that's the shoe thing, man. That's a hard one to get around. I don't have the rabbits, and I'm right there with Shadow. It could have been a burrow of rabbits that got messed with, but the whole laboratory feel to it, that's definitely interesting.
Yeah, because it's weird if you think about it. If it was anything, not, I don't want to say unnatural, but some sort of government, whatever, they wouldn't have said, okay, let's build a Costco there. They'd be like, hey, wait, no, our experiment's going on there, or something. You know what I mean? There would be, some sort of, people in high places would have been like, whatever. But the fact that wasn't what happened, and that you were the only one to see it, I would honestly try to go back, and me, the Ranger in me, I would. Yeah, I know. I would be. I'd be going.
The feeling that I got. I got out of there. Yeah.
I'd be looking for tracks and other visible, indicators to see, how real versus supernatural it was. Because if you went back and there's no tracks, there's no droppings, you can't see the tunnels anymore, then for me that'd be enough this is some sort of a sign, you know what I mean? That maybe only you were meant to see because you're the only one who saw it, and the rabbits probably got the hell out of there and didn't come back, because they knew, hey, it's time to go. Costco's coming in and we're getting evicted. But I would be, using all my tracking skills and things like that, getting some photos, etc., and looking for, real physical indicators to get an idea what was really going on. Also, the area around there, was there, any kind of vegetation for them to eat?
Yeah.
Or there was plenty of food for them to eat?
It was like that kind of spinifex grass that comes up when you move a whole bunch of sand around. You know what I mean? Like, they were going to turf some of it, so I think they'd already started seeding it, or grass seeds got blown through there because there were tufts and stuff everywhere. Yeah.
They love
Yeah.
Timothy grass seed.
Yeah.
Is it like
But I got a
They
question
call
for
it,
Shadow.
they call it what do they call it? They call it Saint Agassi? Saint Agnes? I can't think of it.
Augustine.
Augustine in Florida. It's like crabgrass that grows basically next to the beach, and it's a grass, but it's like a weed. Nothing kills it. Literally, nothing kills it.
Shade.
Yeah.
I got a question for Shadow. When
Okay.
Walmart and Sam's Club were built out here, they dug out the ground at least 2 floors down.
Mm-hmm.
But you go into those stores and they're 1 story.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any idea? You have any knowledge of engineering that would cause them to choose to dig 2 floors down?
I can think of a couple untoward reasons, highly suspicious reasons. But first, I'm going to go with, because they don't do their storage underground. They don't necessarily have their own power plant or generators or anything like that. So I'm going to go with the fact that there are some stories going around, or at least there were last year, of Walmart's creating chain link fenced internment looking camps around the actual Walmarts. I'm guessing that they have other stuff below ground so that people could hole up in a Walmart and turn it into living space for certain kinds of people so that they could survive. They could wall off the Walmart. It's going to be full of everything you could possibly need for all kinds of things, not just food and water and clothing
Like
and
the
tools.
old civil defense buildings?
Yep. That's what I'm thinking. Exactly. Because we had Walmart, even in California, in San Jose, I think it was, that they were building COVID camps around the Walmarts. And they never got used because that fell apart too quickly. But they were doing that, and maybe it's something along the lines of the Denver airport, where they've got all that weird stuff going on underground. If they did, want to do something, what would be a better place? The biggest chain of shopping center or stores with the most supplies. You might want to build bedrooms and bathrooms and things like that, maybe even holding cells or living areas, kitchens, things like that below a Walmart. And it only takes 1 door and 1 stairwell to get to such a place, and it could be hidden behind a wall, and nobody would know about it except whoever really wanted to make use of that, move their family into the Walmart, start popping caps into Walmart employees, close the doors, and for whatever reason, humans and zombies seem to be unaware that you can bust through just about any wall made in the United States with a hammer. You ever notice how in those movies, you know what I mean? In those movies, people are trapped in a house, and all they have to go through is a little bit of drywall, a couple of studs, and you're out, but they're trapped. You know what I mean? People are the same way with a Walmart. They're not going to think, hey, look, I bust the glass, I'm in, or what? I bust through a wall and you're in, and it really would. You don't even have to be that strong to do it.
As long as you don't hit the.
I think it's possible that the 2 stories is just a start. And
very true.
And I also think that if you look at some of the CDC's own announcements, they did a kind of joking, not joking announcement about zombies not long ago. And they recently did a really tone-deaf announcement for the city of New York for a nuclear disaster. and the
Yep.
advice was basically useless.
And in San Francisco recently too.
And so one wonders if you were part of some cult that was committed to the eradication of life on Earth and turning it into a new Eden and then ruling it, just if, you'd be grabbing hold of all kinds of private and public infrastructure that you could, manage to get some kind of a hand in under the guise of helping it or running it. If that was your plan, just hypothetically.
That's just weird. I mean, listen, I think Walmart's are evil incarnate. I think, same with Amazon, but they are the evil we have to deal with. But to build a Sam's / Wally World 2 stories high. Now I can understand if you do it. Yeah. I can understand if you do it in like places like Chicago, where it's going to sink, parts of it will sink over time. But if you do it like in Tennessee, Tennessee is probably a bad example, because maybe 1 out of 15 houses in Tennessee have a basement because of ground you just can't build, you can't deal with. I lived in that.
What if it goes down much, much further?
Oh, you mean like a straight elevator straight to hell? That does make sense.
Yeah.
I think Comcast has the same arrangement. There goes my internet. No.
You think I'm joking, Colin?
I don't.
I'm kind of joking. I'm
No. It makes it. You know what? Think about the Shawshank Redemption. Okay, remember how he was digging that tunnel, and he would just take pockets full of dirt and just drop it throughout the thing to get rid of it. It wouldn't. You could have one guy with a jackhammer at night, working. If that's all you had. But I mean, if you had, a team of. If you had a team of people,
rock hammer. He used the rock hammer. It took him like 15 years.
Right, which is a load of horse shit. He wouldn't get through 8 feet in that amount of time. But if you had people who, but you could easily have a team of people.
It doesn't necessarily have to be. It doesn't necessarily have to be a bunker. It might be securing a flashpoint that is dangerous to the public.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You could do any number of things. Poisoning the food, irradiating the food, contaminating the food, or even the clothing, or what have you, and slowly letting it out. However you wanted to, get rid of people. But to be honest, I would be looking at it more like a tactical strong point without making one obvious.
Right. Or if you found an underground network of tunnels that already existed and you were trying to explore it.
Well, the Air Force has that machine that can tunnel.
That is true.
Yeah.
It's not just the Air Force. Those machines are all over the freaking place.
That's just weird.
Yeah. Fun fact: the land that Costco and all that area is built on is a former military land that the city kind of negotiated because Fort Bliss was about to take it all back. And city said, whoa, we got Mimco in there. Mimco's a big name in El Paso. And we got Walmart in there. We got Mimco in there. You can't have this back. Let's talk about it. So they went the other way. But it is former rangeland, storage land, World War I. I think World War II for sure.
Casper Range also.
Right.
For the other Walmart.
There are signs up there that says live ammunition, proceed at your own risk on foot. They try to get what they missed something.
If there are contracts stating that there are pre-existing infrastructures underneath areas that have since been built over, then I'm pretty sure the government would claim preeminence if they needed to, right?
Right.
But
they talked their way out of it So they went. Basically they were going to go this way. They talked to El Paso City, raised a fuss, and they said, "Okay, well we'll go this way." There wasn't much out here, so they
Well, they
went
don't
that
need
way.
access. They don't need access to the top level anyway. Like you can still run your Walmart as long as I can keep my underground base, right? Like you can
Well,
run your
they
Walmart on top
built.
of my
The
underground
thing is,
base. It's fine.
they built that Costco with the 2 stories underground, and
Mm,
Costco is a 1-story place with
mm,
big shelves, and
mm.
yeah, that's like
Well, there's another
why.
Oh
reason
yeah, the
why.
steel reinforcement that went on that floor was amazing.
There's
I
another
can
reason
only imagine.
why governments give grants to these companies to build in their states. You know what I mean? It's like dual purpose. Like, you know, if you say, "Oh, well, we'll bring Walmart to your town, but we want a tax sweetener." Okay, fine. You know, but we want you to build this deep, and we want access to that space if we need it.
Yeah, so it was
You
previous
know.
military already. They did try to
Mm,
claim what you call eminent domain, but the city
mm-hmm.
negotiated out of it because I was actually living in some of the eminent domain at the time, and they were like, "No, no, 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 no," and yeah,
Oh, they still
this,
they still want that trailer park.
I bet they do. That's just too close, and it's too easy to just wipe it out. It's a trailer park. It's already flat. Just go in there with, I don't know, whatever equipment. Say, okay, we have 4 hours. Let's level this joint, and it'll be done in 3.5. But if you have the Army Corps of Engineers, a day and a half.
Wait 1 second. Plus the evening for the beer.
Right.
Right.
But but yeah, there is no civil engineering reason to build a retail place that does not store underground to have 2 floors underground. I think that's what was getting at here. I think that's what Joe was getting at here.
Right.
And I think it's something tactical. They wanted it, they can keep it.
Yeah,
And yeah,
Walmart does not have that kind of storage space ever.
it's not
They just don't use it.
yeah, it's against their
It's not
business practice.
designed
It
for it.
costs too much. Yeah, it costs too much.
Not only that, but I heard some stuff recently about the way they do their storage. They're actually starting to store things outside. Why would they do that if they already had stuff below ground? I'm thinking that there's some sort of connection between them not knowing that they have storage space underground and that the storage space underground is used for something completely different.
Yeah,
Well,
there's
I don't see how
already
they miss it.
yeah, there's already a vast network of tunnels under Fort Bliss. It's right down the road from Area 51, and all the places in the desert that are weird, they all go to Fort Bliss. Fort Bliss is it's Fort Bliss is El Paso, the pass to Mexico. It's
You know what
important.
a tank is? You know what a tank is in the desert?
A target?
It's the same. No, it's the same thing as in Saudi Arabia you would call an oasis.
Okay.
Every tank between here and Tiburon. Now I looked because I was wondering, could I, if I had to, cross the desert to Tiburon on foot? Every tank has a miniature military base on it.
You mean a holding tank? I'm thinking not that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they do have holding. They have put holding tanks there, but originally, yeah,
I thought you meant like mobile infantry, but not that.
No.
I'm sure they have those. They do have those.
No, these were originally oases in the desert.
Okay.
And they were called tanks out in this area. And every one of them, if you go Google it, every one of them has a water tower and, like a sentry tower and a couple other little things there.
All right.
Must be boring duty.
Yeah.
I want you to
go ahead.
I was going to make a joke, but it's not. Anyways, but the whole Walmart thing, I have noticed that my local Walmart has containers out
Outside, right?
Yeah, outside. And I'm like, that's kind of weird, but I just kind of let it go because it's Walmart, and
Right. What's funny is they're claiming that that's the stuff that's been sitting on the cargo tankers out in the ocean that they're finally coming in, and they because of the timing, they now have to store everything outside because they don't have room for it inside.
Well,
and
that's
yet we
a
don't have
convenient cover story.
Yeah, we don't have truckers. We don't have fuel. How's it all getting there?
Well, this was a while ago that it got there. Now we're running the risk of not having the fuel, so it's a good thing that some of those things are there. But all that's going to run out in about 3 days. After the third day of no more diesel, those Walmarts are going to be ghost towns.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that to happen. You know what? A part of me doesn't want it to happen. Of course, I want us to have a good status quo. But another part of me says, fuck the status quo. We need to stop doing the status quo because it's bad for us. But then, I'm ready for this. I don't think everybody's ready for this. They got things to do, things they can't concentrate on, and things they can't reinvent the wheel for themselves.
Yeah, most people aren't ready.
Yeah, most of us here can. In this room right now, can. In the chat room, can. We can make shit happen. But anyway, sorry, that's a button. That's a button I got.
Hey, Joe, I got a question for you.
I'm listening.
What did you think of James's stories, his encounters this week?
Well, like everybody else on the shoes, I think I would have made sure that the authorities were notified, because obviously something unique is happening there. Let's put it that way. The rabbits, I would have to go back and look at the rabbits again. And like everybody else has said, I'd have to go and look and see if there's any evidence that they'd been there.
Yeah.
Because like I was at CC's Pizza the other day, and I was sitting down there eating a pizza, and all of a sudden I saw the window flash brightly and all the glass come flying in, and I felt searing pain, and my wife is looking at me like, what? And I look around and everything's normal. I have no idea what that was about.
I've seen a couple of those. I've seen a couple of those phenomena lately, where it's like you're in a blast of some kind, momentarily. Like you catch it out the corner of your eye, and you turn around and it's gone. But it's very vivid. Yeah.
Kind of like what's her name in Terminator?
Yeah, but not like a long cinematic sequence, like just a quick secondary. What is that flash of light, kind of, and that sound, and then you turn and it's gone.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of people report that kind of thing too. Very quick, very dramatic, very scary.
It's because they're putting apocalyptic themes into the general consciousness, I think.
Probably.
Yeah.
Let's hope that that's all it is.
It's hard not to soak it up, to be honest with you. Although I don't personally think things are trending that way, really. It's definitely hard not to still pick up some of it anyway,
Samantha says Foundation. Yeah. I think that's the TV show, right? Foundation, or part of a TV show. I don't know, but it makes sense. I remember hearing something about it. So
what about his What about James's the other thing he had happen with the car and the old man giving him a ride?
That's
You know what?
very cool. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's very cool, and I've had similar things happen. Had my well, it was my car, but
Oh, okay.
driving
Yeah,
down
I had a similar thing myself, but this
driving
was
down
40 years ago.
driving down the road. Apparently, I hadn't checked my battery, and it blew up.
Oh,
And it comes a little guy on a donkey, and he rides up and looks at it and looks at me and gets a jug of water out from on the top of his donkey and pours a little into what's left of the battery. And I make it to Van Horn with no problem. I started the car right up and went. And I told the people in Van Horn about him, and they say he's been there almost any time anybody has a problem between Valentine and Van Horn, and nobody knows his name.
Mm.
Well, there's a
That's
similar guy somewhere else too, is there? I remember hearing, maybe it's the same area and I'm just getting the names mixed up in my head. But I remember hearing a story similar to that. Maybe it's the same guy.
Maybe.
I know of a story. I never experienced it. The Padre of Trans Mountain Road.
That's
guy
the
on
one.
the donkey?
That is the one.
Okay.
That is the one. Yeah.
Yeah, but the stories on him vary.
Yeah,
He
it's
can be-
very, very different.
Yeah, he can be very vindictive.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's not good.
Well, it depends on the person he approaches, I think.
Right. I remember
Different
that.
people, different approaches. But
Well, the big
Okay.
thing that I got from this old guy, the strong feeling was that I had a choice to keep going or to get out when I needed to get out. And I'm glad I got out when I got out.
You mean
Yeah.
That's actually very interesting. It
Even
You're
though
muted.
he helped me and he was quite benign, I was still terrified, you know?
you mean you don't want to go to Summerland already?
Not yet. Not even if they have little tiny espressos.
Oh, they got tiny espressos and ferries and
But okay, Joe. So I guess your apocalyptic vision and your truck; those are your weird stories. But did anything happen since the last show? Anything come to mind?
oh, something simple this evening. I lost my radio,
Okay.
and I was looking all over the place for it. Checked the car, checked the house, called Cordelitos where we had been. It's not there. Checked Jim Jordan's pecan farm, which is where I went to. Not there. Went back out of the car, and the whole car is glowing. Now this radio has it is kind of a Swiss Army knife, okay, of radios. It does have a light in it, but it managed to somehow get on my wife's side of the car and down between the seats and push on the button that turns on the light. That was making the whole car glow. And I'm going, this was not an accident. There's no way that ended up down there.
Yeah, that was small. Mine's
just
small.
right.
Yeah. So you found it because you followed the lights.
I followed the
Towards
light. Oh,
Shadow, you're up. You got any weird stories since last week? Anything weird, strange, out of the ordinary?
I did have some of those flashes this week where something was flashing outside my kitchen window because I spent a lot of time in the kitchen or in that area during the day when Jackie's at school, and something was like at like let's say 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and something's lighting up my backyard brighter than the sun, but just for a second. And that happened a couple of times in one day, and I couldn't figure out what it was. I still have, I don't know for certain what it was, but it was kind of weird. And then everything else is actually when I'm asleep. I'm having not just vivid dreams, but dreams of things that are more personal, let's say, not sexual or anything like that, but just things that would only pertain to my particular frame of mind. And when I told you guys a story about the things that I dreamt about that have come true, I've been trying to focus on that with the remote reading book that I've been reading, the remote viewing, I should say, and trying to really focus on that this week since the last show. And because I don't get out or during the week I'm pretty much at home every day, 5 days a week. I'm home, maybe I'm in the backyard or in the house or whatever. And so I just have been focusing on, trying to flex those muscles. And I think I'm getting ready to be more open to those kinds of experiences again that had been more or less dormant for I couldn't tell you how long, but it's been a couple of years, and I'm trying to just flex those muscles.
Right. Okay.
So I've been having a lot of weird dreams.
Weird dreams. Cool. Hey, weird dreams are definitely weird. My stuff is. Go ahead.
I do occasionally try to listen to various YouTube shows or channels or things like that because they sometimes, influence my sleep. And I've been, doing a lot of listening to like UFO sightings or Art Bell or things like that, or even Edgar Casey stuff, and seeing if that is gonna flip some switches or things like that when I'm doing that. But nothing that I could report yet.
Okay.
But I could feel that I'm getting ready to be able to maybe do it again.
Okay.
Hey, Shadow, can you show us one or two of your 15s?
Yeah.
Let's hang on to that for a minute. Let's just hang on to that for a minute.
Cool.
We can. Let's just hang on. You said 15s as in 15 millimeter, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's just pause on that one. What are they saying, Congress? Let's circle back around. We'll put a pin in it. Just kidding.
I'm putting washers on.
15s. Okay. Yeah, my stuff all week long. Repeating numbers, sequential numbers, everywhere.
No, whoa. Trip out on that.
Yeah.
That's weird. Because if you go through my catalog of videos, every video we don't like time them, to be a perfect, set time.
Right.
But all of our videos have these weird numerical sequences, like 11 minutes 22 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, stuff like that,
or repeating. Yeah.
or
Every
even or like significant. You know, for me, like my lucky
Right.
number or something like that, or my birth
Right.
year and things, weird things like that.
It has been like that for me all week long. I go to the store, buy something. It's 11:11. I go. I get a phone call at 3:33, or I get a text message from somebody at 4:44, or something like that. Receipts are 12:34, or 52, or not 52, but 54:32. All of that stuff every time. And I'm like, whoa, I must be doing something right. That's my weirdness. Generally for the week. Also, I've been watching like you do, watching YouTube videos that might push some buttons and open some doors. And I've been noticing people saying things that I've noticed been happening. Spirit guides have been kind of withdrawing from me. Not gone, just not
Mhm.
so talkative and not so engaging. And somebody put up a video about that, and it says they're not really supposed to be your chat buddy. They're only supposed to be there because they are literally a higher being. And yeah, I mentioned this in the first hour. They're not there as higher as chat buddies, and they don't like it when I refer to us humans as pets. They don't like that, and I'm not supposed to do that. But it's out there. Now it's out there. But I've been learning that that is part of their rule set, their policies, whatever, that they are supposed to step in when needed. And I think that's what the numbers are all about, that they are giving me signs. Okay, we're still here. Don't worry about us. You're good. Keep going, Fido. No, okay, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But I must be doing something right for them to not step in and like stop me from doing stuff. And the repeating numbers, I mean, they've been everywhere. I stopped on the way home. I stopped on the way out and stopped on the way home. And it was, what was it? 44:44. I had to buy some stuff. 44:44. I didn't plan that. And at a gas station on the way out there, 11:11. I'm like, all week long, it's been like that all week long. So I'm like, okay, I'm doing something right. And yeah, so I'm happy with that. But it is very weird. I don't plan these things, right? And every cashier
No,
says, yeah, every cashier says, yeah, time to play the lottery. I'm like, you know what? I already won.
Mhm.
I'm like,
I was thinking about that too, especially. You might want to write those down
I'm
and then play
keeping
the lottery.
receipts. Yeah, because that's you. We all know what that is here. That's exactly what it is.
It makes me think of that TV show. Was it Lost? Where the guy plays these numbers and they're the wrong numbers to play. He wins the lottery, but his life goes to shit afterwards.
Well, that's usually what happens to everybody who wins the lottery. So that's not really weird, but I know what you mean. I watched a little bit of that show, but I couldn't be loyal to it at the time, and then it just became another one of those shows I wasn't going to get around to watching.
Yeah, I could not get into it. Could not get my headspace into it. So I hear you. Okay. So yeah, all the weird stories have been told from the week. Unless anybody has something they want to bring up.
I wanted to ask Joe what he thought about my theory about the immigration. Remember last week? Nathan, you don't remember? How people are leaving the sacred area sites?
Right. People are leaving these lush countryside areas. Go ahead, take it. I remember.
I was wondering if you thought anything about what I said, which was, it's weird how all of these areas that have ancient sites that are significant in one way or another, but people are moving the hell away from them to like come here or to move to other countries. They're moving out of South America. They're moving out of the Middle East. And they're leaving behind these ancient, megalithic sites to come here. Do you think people are pushing them out of there or influencing them or luring them out to have those places all to themselves, so to speak?
Well, Shadow, you are aware that subsonic sound.
Yes, we were talking about the MRAPs and things like that that could physically influence people away, as well as sociologically between cartels and other groups of people telling people to get the hell out, without telling them to get out, making it hard for them to exist there. And then they leave, and then they have the area, and now those areas are under the control of a few people in comparison, because all the sheep have run away and leaving, the wolves to do whatever it is they want with those areas, whether it be the Middle East, Europe, or South America.
And I think Venezuela is an excellent example of that, and where you had a population that was essentially going to be wealthy.
Mm-hmm. And then they embraced a certain ideology, and that went to shit in its predicted quickest course possible. And now they're leaving it like, rats leaving a sinking ship, when if they just buckled down and, did what everybody else has done throughout history and worked the land, they pull themselves up by their bootstraps and fix things, but instead they're moving out.
They didn't even have to work. They didn't even have to work the land. It was getting wealthy enough that they could have given every citizen a basic income, given them a home and a car, not the most fancy car, but a car. And I can see your point totally there. And
what do you think would be the motivation for people so that they could have those ancient sites to themselves to, maybe work their magic, or just to, have them just not be around while they excavate or
destroy?
Yeah, or closing off access to things that would really change the game a bit too much.
Right. Destroy it. Which is
and who do you think would be behind it? Most likely culprit.
That I have no clue on.
ETs, World Economic Forum, the local governments, or
government.
Or other people in the know.
I think when people get worked up over the World Economic Forum, it's a very easy kind of golem to kind of strike at, whereas what it really is just like figureheads for management speak that justifies haves and have-nots, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, like, the reason we know about Klaus Schwab is because it suits their purposes for us to do so.
Jim,
like
I'm going to suggest one thing to you. Anytime you can say, what I mean, I think you ought to explain it.
Oh, okay.
He called you out, buddy.
Yeah, I deserve it. That's the thing. That's the problem. I would love to lash out, but I need a bit of stick from time to time. You know what I mean?
Hey.
Besides, like, Americans are actually pretty good bants merchants. Like, they don't get as offended as easily as I thought they might. You know what I mean?
No, explain it.
Well, I assumed Americans were a little bit more puritanical and
It depends on your person.
right.
That's just
Right.
I mean, unfortunately, it's just kind of it takes hypothetically for me, for example, I'll use myself. It takes a lot to get me going. It takes a lot to piss me off. We can, whatever. I mean, there's a few things you can say that'll set me off, but I'm not really sensitive. Now you can get somebody like I don't know. I'm trying to somebody else too.
Thought you're gonna call me out.
No, or you can get somebody that is like really sensitive that just they just are really thin skin. They can't take the criticism.
Hey, Shadow, I meant to ask you just before we get back into it. Painting the 15s isn't as hard as it seemed at first, is it?
Oh hell no!
It's
almost easier.
It's actually like a cakewalk once you get into it, right?
Yeah, it's actually a lot easier than painting 28s.
Yeah. Yeah. There's less to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's another one.
I'm glad.
Am I live again?
It was a bit of a gamble. Not everybody can get into that, but I'm glad.
I think we have our host wanting to speak.
Shadow, go ahead. Bring out the 15s. We're there.
Oh, I'm downstairs. I have to do that later. I'm downstairs. I'm trying to warm up the house with the fireplace, so I have to keep tending to it. It's downstairs. Everything's upstairs. Because one of the things I was thinking about with the immigration thing, and I know that's sounds like politically incorrect way to talk about it, but I remember back a few years ago, talk of a certain Saddam's, takeover of certain areas and discoveries, and I'm wondering if it's somehow connected to that.
Joe, the floor is yours. I know you know more about this than
I don't want to go there though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought I'm learning. I'm learning to be able to pick up on Joe's expressions. And is that like a big deep rabbit hole, or is that just like a big no?
That's a big rabbit hole.
Okay.
Now, you realize that under the Sphinx.
Oh yeah, that's one of my specialties.
There's a big cavity.
Yeah, there is.
The story is that was Osiris's or Inky's.
The Atlantean?
No, Osiris's or Inky's spaceship.
I hadn't heard that one before.
And that the instruction manual was sitting in Iran. Not translated. They didn't know how to translate it, but it was sitting there. Mm-hmm. And that when the British went in, they realized that it was there and they stole it. And that was one of the reasons for going in there, because that ship was powerful enough to blow away the fourth planet from the sun and make an asteroid belt out of it.
I had not heard that. Most of my experience has been with like the Atlanteans, the Hall of Records, things like that, and I hadn't heard that one. That's a biggie.
Right.
It is. It really is. That's why nobody is allowed to go down there.
Okay, Jim, what was that?
Speaking of the Sphinx,
droid part.
As a kid, I used to watch a cartoon called Rescue Rangers. It was a Disney cartoon as a kid. and there was an episode where they're in Egypt, and I know I'm a loser. Yeah, whatever. I used to watch it as a kid, and
I
it was an
probably
episode
did
where
too.
there was an episode where they were in Egypt, and one of them found the ability to do something, and this thing stood up, like on all four legs, stood up and walked away, and there was like a cache of diamonds underneath it. It just like a swimming pool, Olympic sized swimming pool full of nothing but diamonds, and that's just always stuck in my head. Then you say your thing underneath there's a spaceship. So
I'd rather have the spaceship than the diamonds.
I rather there be neither, because I don't trust humans.
Well, unfortunately, there is something under the Sphinx.
Sand?
No. No. When the Egyptian government won't let you go anywhere near it with ground penetrating radar, which is non-invasive and non-harmful to the environment, and all it would do is answer a yes or no question. Is there something under there? Yes or no? And they say absolutely can't do it.
You must listen to Dr. Zahi Hawass. You cannot be digging around there. We do not want you exposing the forces of darkness. Please understand this.
Is that supposed to be Egyptian or German?
Wow.
I could just see a Brandon Fraser mummy character walking around with the metal detectors. No mummies, no more mummies.
Okay.
Have y'all seen who? I'm on Facebook. I know a couple of y'all are on Facebook. Have y'all seen the scam coming through about things being found with penetrating radar from space and laser scanning from space?
I've seen some of that. That's interesting.
Oh man, yeah.
Actually, not only that, but go ahead.
And they've been discovering it from space, but they're only reporting it now. It's been years. They've been finding this stuff for years.
Grim says he heard that there was a library underneath it.
Yeah, the Hall of Records.
The ship itself has a library in it.
Is it next to the swimming pool?
Yeah.
And back then, they could have easily mistaken a spaceship for a hall.
Guys, I'm pretty sure that Doctor Who, The Pyramids of Mars, dealt with this. Tom Baker discovered that sarcophagus was actually a regeneration portal for the evil alien entity known as Sutek.
Okay, and we can do sarcophaguses in Stargate too.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yep.
Good point. Did you guys hear about? Oh God, it was similar to ground penetrating radar, but I was watching something last week about the poof stand on Mars and how they were using the similar laser technology to ground penetrating radar to be able to read what's under the poof sand. If you guys know what that is, cool. If not, I'll explain it in a minute. Where they could tell the temperature differences during certain points of the year, that they can actually now detect like structures under. No, not just moisture, but like if there's the poof sand is sometimes miles deep, and it has a different temperature than these stone structures underneath, and they can basically do like the equivalent of like laser X-rays and see the structures underneath the massive amounts of poof sand, which personally I think is remnants from the equivalent of fallout. After thousands and thousands of years, that fallout just comes down as multiple layers of just the most microscopic dust you can imagine, almost like quicksand. And I was just wondering if anybody had heard about that.
Yeah, I heard that they called it poof stand because when you scoop it in large quantities, it makes a sound like, ooh, get you.
Actually, honestly, the only thing I've been reading last week that hasn't been a cookbook is I've been looking more into the concept of us nuking the moon.
Yeah.
I
They
just
say they didn't,
one of our
but they
mining magnates, one of the richest people in Australia, wanted to nuke Western Australia to strip away land for mining. Like, she was like all for it. She's like, how do we make this happen?
oh Jesus.
that is insane.
Okay, nuking the moon now doesn't sound that bad compared to that. I'm not saying let's go nuke the moon, but I'm just surprised it was even in concept it got brought up.
It's
There's some crazy
Australia.
people.
All the most important people are drunk by midday. You know.
Somebody is misreading Elon's tweets. I swear, because that's something he came up with too.
I think
they're
Elon.
misinterpreting.
What,
I think
nuking the moon?
Elon's hilarious at the moment. I'm really enjoying his quality comedy. I mean, I don't really agree with being mechanized. Like, I'd like to avoid that as long as possible. But
Yeah, I don't want a chip in my brain.
yeah, I'm all.
It depends on what the chip
Don't put a
does.
Raspberry Pi. Don't put a Raspberry Pi in my head. But
You don't know what's next.
yeah,
Y'all know
yeah,
what's next.
yeah.
I
Control
mean-
and centralization. Exactly. No,
I
thank
mean,
you.
Upgrade.
Do these people
Upgrade.
No,
do these
thank
people
you.
not realize that we would then know each other's weirdest, deepest, darkest secrets, and there would then no longer be any secrets, but we'd all know everybody's weirdest things? It's just pure insanity.
There's been arguments basically.
Just be a paladin like me, Shadow, and just be really boring underneath it all.
I'm trying, but well,
Yeah.
I was more than just a teenager in the '80s. That's all I'm saying.
As St. Augustine said, Lord, make me pure, but not yet.
I miss the 70s.
Yeah, the '70s were pretty cool too.
No,
I
I
don't know if I could've
missed them. I lived during that time, but I missed them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was a good kid. I couldn't,
I have the same feeling when it comes to the early 2000s. I know I lived through them. I just don't remember them.
Yeah, I was on the
You didn't miss much, Connell. You didn't miss much.
I was on the Catholic to Goth pipeline during that whole time.
I mean, I don't want a chip in the brain, but if they could replace my knee, my left knee,
all he has to do is keep tweeting. I will send him $8 a month. Fine. I don't have it. I don't like social media much. I just like talking to you guys. But at the end of the day, as long as he keeps upsetting the right people, I support his venture.
That's fair. I was actually looking at Australian tickets today. How much it would cost me to get to Australia? And
I'll feed you.
Yeah. I might be showing up with one less kidney
and hose you down, tie you up outside. You know, the usual.
Yeah, right. Say
Well,
no more.
you can start working on it with the law of attraction.
Same goes for you, Nathan. There's a lot of weird shit down here you need to check out.
I have heard.
Apparently, you got three in 1 week, man. I'm telling you.
Well,
though,
some of those things happened a while ago. I just remembered them, and I was like, my goodness, like. Actually, if I look at it critically, my life is littered with like paranormal activity. I just never really realized it, you know.
Well,
or I tried to dismiss it or ignore it, you know.
Well, there's no more of that. No more denial. None of that shit. You can't avoid it. You got to embrace it. Embrace the weird. But when you told us the thing about the silver cord, I'm like, dude, if that happened to me even once. But I know I'd be terrified. But at the same time, I'd still want to keep trying it.
The silver cord.
I had an out of body experience.
Okay.
Once or twice, Connell, kind of very deep into it once and very kind of light into it
a couple of times where I kind of felt it starting, but couldn't really like get it to take off, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Where you're kind of in the waiting room and you're like ready for takeoff.
Yeah.
But
Or like bungee jumping, you're up there at the top, but then you like just wuss out.
it's not even that. I'm like, what was I doing to make this happen? Like, how do I push it into that state of mind? You know what I mean? Like, I was like, I can kind of feel it. Like the conditions are similar, but you know, like what was I like trying to grasp that I can kind of feel it happening, but I can't quite seem to get it to fully develop in the same way,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, I was thinking about that too with what I've been trying to do, and I'm wondering, if when those things happened to me, I wasn't such a capitalist pig, and now I'm thinking, well, maybe that's what's keeping me, holding me back, because if I could remote view, or if I could do the precognitive things that I've been able to do in the past.
I only have one piece of advice for you as someone who has probably gotten more conservative as you've gotten older, because that's happened to me too, and I think it happens to most people, is that like, don't buy into the right-wing media too much, because they really just give you red meat that you want to hear all the time.
No, what I mean is like what I would do with it. If I could turn that shit on and off, would I use it for good or evil, or just pure selfishness? And I think I have to fully give into being a better person to be able to access that, because the times that it didn't work, I was a shitty person, and the times that it did work, I was more innocent. And as I've gotten older, I've tried to go back to that way of thinking, but I've also learned so much shit that I would be trying to look at the Pelosi house a couple of weeks ago, or things like that. You know what I mean? Would I use it for curiosity, or could I use it for somehow a more useful way?
I think the whole problem.
Shadow? Hold up, Shadow.
Sure.
I'm going to tell you something that I have discovered when I touch on that realm of existence, right? I don't out of body, right? But it's kind of like plug into it. Okay. Not keep going, because once you do come in contact with it, your frame of reference changes, and you won't remember that in the here and now matrix of us here, but your frame of reference will change over there, because I've been trying to do that stuff. Like, as I go to sleep, I verbally state something, and then I wake up the next day, but I'm, like I told you, I'm perfectly rested. So, but what I can remember from those other times, your frame of reference changes. You don't care anymore about Pelosi, in any of the politics of humanity. It's hard to explain, because we can't really switch that gear. Okay, we can't shift out of that gear, because it's all around us all the time.
It's too low frequency for it to work, Shadow. Like,
but once you go touch there, you will.
If you go in there in that kind of frame of mind, I think you kind of attract or create things that are kind of negative. You know what I mean?
Right. I'm trying to. Yeah, because I've lived my whole life knowing that, for example, the afterlife is way more important than the here and now.
It's
if
like
that makes sense.
You can be a dark elf and get powerful, but you get twisted. You know what I mean? Or you can be a wood elf and be good and still be reasonably powerful. You know?
That's interesting.
Okay,
those are the practice of. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead, Joe.
Those that practice the negative side attract to them negativity against themselves.
Right.
So they continually have to up their game so they can maintain themselves
Mhm.
in the negativity they create. So those that follow a more positive path, and I'm not saying it's perfectly positive, okay? You
We are only
remember the car example, Nathan. Oh, okay, you're going to tell me to explain it. Okay, I'm driving down the highway, and this car comes in front of me and slams on his brakes. Looks like doing a brake check or something, you know? So this happens about 3 times. And finally, I'm going, may your karma catch up with you. Well, he decides you're not going to get me. So he goes on down the road and on this is the same road again. On the road to Van Horn, it's wavy. It's up and down. I see his taillights and then I don't. I see his taillights and then I don't. Well, I saw another set of taillights. He passed that set of taillights. And I get up there. And he had slammed on his brakes and snapped his front U-joint. At the same time, that axle, what do you call that? Drive shaft.
The CV joint.
Yeah, well, the CV, no. This was before CV joints, okay?
Oh,
This was
okay.
This was U joints. You snapped the front U joint right behind the transmission. That dropped the drive shaft down, and it pole vaulted his car and pancaked it onto the top. I felt very bad, about it when I saw what happened because he killed himself instantly.
Oh, sure.
But it was his karma.
Yeah.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Right.
Yeah, but Shadow, when you contact that other realm, you will be given more information than you're looking for, more context. And I don't know what kind of context you will find. I know what I found, but I don't know what you will find. So all the things that you want to know in the here and now matrix won't matter as much to you. It'll be like that's your main topic when you're beginning, and then you find out all this other stuff and you're like, wow, maybe I need to look here instead. And then when I come back, it's like I can't remember any of that stuff. Actually, I can't remember anything. I'm just fully rested and I don't feel bad, and I'm getting all the magic numbers. So yeah, keep going, because when you get there, I have a feeling you're going to change your mind. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's interesting that we're talking about dreams. I was actually talking about dreams to somebody not all that long ago. My day-to-day life, I'm very much colorblind. I've told you this multiple times. But in most of my dreams, I'm also colorblind. But I find that dreams that come to me in color have a way of coming true.
Okay.
Interesting.
Unfortunately, they haven't been lottery numbers. I would have paid attention to that.
It's weird. A lot of times when that happens, it's like dumb, insignificant stuff, right?
Yeah. I mean,
it seems dumb. I had that one experience where, I found the Flying Tigers patch and I knew I was going to find it, and that was cool. But 99% of the other times, it's like, it's just, it's like that sort of deja vu kind of thing. It's like, oh, hey, I remember dreaming about this and now it's happening, and it's meaningless. It's insignificant other than the fact that it happened.
I had a bit of a quantum. I had a bit of a quantum realization on that same kind of basis. Like I sort of realized this week that in a way we are kind of living in a sort of system, a kind of RPG with rules and boundaries, and
Mathematics, exactly. And the big test for me was I made a point of getting up really early every morning and kind of thanking God or the universe for everything I have and everything around me, as the sun comes up. And every day when I thought something bad might happen and I was anxious or tense, the matter resolved in a way that made me feel like I was really supported. And it was almost like testing the rules to see if they work. And they work. So I think wanting to build capability on top of that is good. But I reckon it's probably still quite rewarding to go in with just good vibes, like I don't want to know about these crazy politicians or their proclivities. I couldn't give a damn. Have you noticed that, like, it's like something Joe said, like, it's like the more evil they are, the more evil they need to be to maintain themselves. And eventually they're spiraling. They're not having a good time. You know what I mean?
Clearly they're not.
We're having the best time, man. We're having the best time.
Agreed. Joe, why were you shaking your head?
Which time? But your comment.
Yeah.
The comment, the thing is, when you have those little things like that, it is affirming that you have the skills. And it's, it's a little hint at them. And you just let that flow. Because,
that's what I'm trying to do now. Right. I wish I kept up on it, but obviously it wasn't the right time, otherwise I would have. But, is there like a special diet or, you know what I mean? Is there something that you can do that makes it, more likely, or is there an exercise or,
well, Jim hit upon it, being grateful to the universe for every single day.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's easy for me. I'm
right.
Every morning, I do that, and quite often at sunset as well. I just, I'm very lucky in a lot of things in my life. I'm very blessed, and I'm trying to keep that more in the forefront of my mind instead of in the background, to just how lucky I am.
I didn't
so much stuff that garners your attention is like trying to feed off your negative energy. Like, anyway, like, you have to recognize those, thought forms for what they are.
And your own dark side will do the same thing. Your insecurity, your fear, your all of your anger, all of that will also feed on it, just like an entity without. You're the entity within. I know it sounds really weird, but there it is.
No. I don't think it's really so much fear or anxiety with me personally. It's more, temptation, or, what kind of mischief I could get into that I have to, to keep at bay, because, the more I learn, the more, power potentially I could exert, or, things I could get away with. And,
right.
And that's not really what I'm shooting for.
There's something else I learned to get to that, for me to be able to jack in like I do. I don't know how, but you have to decide consciously and tell yourself, I don't know. Please tell me. A second follow-up, but I don't know. And then it tells your ego to back off, and it says, see, what is there? I don't know. Show me. and then the wanting to program, wanting to control, that comes later, or it comes in small quantities here and now. But decide, I don't know, and then you will be given the answer to what you don't know. And get ready, it's a roller coaster. If it's anything like
When
what
I
I have been through,
when I meditate, I don't ask for anything, and I think that's why it usually works for me. Like I just kind of relax and get into that state of mind, and like answers just come. You know what I mean? Like,
No, actually, meditation is like damn near impossible for me.
well, I found it to be the hardest thing in the world. Like, how do you think about nothing, right? But the first day I cracked it, I learned to visualize the thought or the distraction and then visualize sending it away. And then that's when I unlocked the possibility of it. And that was after years of being like, I can't do this, you know? So, yeah,
I
like
got to keep trying.
it is possible because I was like the least likely candidate. My girlfriend is the same. She says she can't do it. And like I can get her relaxed in like no time at all just by taking the lights down and putting some music on and just telling her to like breathe, right? That's all you have to do. You'll be there in no time. Eventually, you're sitting on a log and, you know, the answers just come. Like you don't have to ask for anything.
Right. I don't know. What is it? I don't know. I don't know is a void. I don't know is a statement of there's something empty here. The universe sees the account.
Oh, universe hates empty things.
Right. They say, oh, we have a deficit. We have to fill that deficit. Put something there. And then they start looking at what to put there. What did they say? Nature abhors a vacuum. You're creating a vacuum. And that's what works. And depending on you and your ego and your own disposition is what information comes in. Now, whether you can retain it or not, that's, I don't know, right?
Remind me of what the Buddha said, Nathan.
Which time?
Well, I'll give you a specific concept, but I can't remember the word for word. He said, if you seek, you won't find. If you give up seeking, it'll come to you.
Oh yeah, I actually know that one pretty well. I was just telling somebody, who was it? Was it you, Connell?
Depends on what.
Oh no, it was you, Nathan. Last week, we were talking about a certain kind of. We were talking about someone you know. You know, basically, you know, basically when you want a girlfriend, you have to not look for a girlfriend.
Right.
That's when you find one. When you tell yourself, I'm happy being single and I don't want a girlfriend, that's when one comes into your life.
Right.
Or the girlfriend, you know, or however you want to look at it, you know. When you say you don't want it, that's when it happens. It's kind of like like Murphy's Law kind of thing, but it's true, you know. So like when you don't look, you find.
Yep.
So I have to tell myself I don't want to know the things I want to know the things I want to know. right?
it's pretty counterintuitive.
Yeah. Be grateful for what you do know.
Right. So
I'll
I have to
do
tell
it.
myself I don't. I have to tell myself I don't want the smoking gun to find the smoking gun.
You know what? Oh, shit, what am I doing? I didn't even have my
Honestly,
microphone. Damn it.
honestly, absolutely.
Bad
Because a
podcaster.
lot of the conspiracies that we talk about, the answers do come to you when you assimilate all the information and then you go away and you meditate. They do come to you. I'm serious. It's well worth being able to get into your Sherlock Holmes mind palace. You know?
You know what? Yeah, that is the overpowering, ego-driven version, and it works if you can make it work. Another one is the deficit checks and balances visualization system. This is something we can all do. I've been doing it, and it's been working. And the numbers showing up have been reinforcing that idea. The checks and balances. Uh, Imagine you have a pad of paper and a pen, and you say, "Thank you for the insert thing here," and this is yours. And the universe takes it from you. The cashier of the universe takes it from you, and she gives it to you, and she sees, okay, and she passes it to the next person. We'll work on it, she says, and you just go on. There's a visualization. I actually came up with that after last week's show and have been starting to do that. And nothing's really happened yet, but we shall see, because I'm writing receipts for thank yous all over the place, visually. I mean, mentally, just imagining it. Yeah, it sounds silly, but you know what? That is the quantum reality of everything. We're silly. We are monkey people walking around on a rock, hurtling through space. And uh, that's what we can do. That is our quantum thread that we're all hanging off of, the silver cord, if you
Well,
will.
we're a kind of clever animal, right? So yeah, we
Some of us.
you know, yeah. I mean, we are in a sort of zoo, as you've alluded to in the past.
Very much.
So I mean, that's not to diminish our potentialities, but yeah, no, you're right. Like, I think it's like just putting positivity out there. I invented a tendency called positive manipulation, where you just do something good for its own sake, like anonymously if possible, and
Mm-hmm.
you just try and put a few things out there just to kind of like actually affect the climate, like
Right. I hear you. Nobody break the
yeah,
spell. Just
yeah,
nobody break that spell. Go ahead.
that's it, really.
I want you to continue doing that,
Yeah,
because you're absolutely right. You touched on something that is really being talked about, right along with being thankful and showing gratitude is, and you spelled it out, and I'm glad you came to it on your own, because you wouldn't have believed it if anybody had told you. Trust me, all this weird
It's
shit that
too
we're
easy.
into. Yeah, all this
Yeah.
weird shit we're into. If somebody comes up to me on the street and tells me some weird shit, I'm gonna be like, "Get the hell out of here, you freaking! You want $1 or what? Get away!" But
well,
Good.
it's just
you came to it yourself.
your materialistic friend says to you, all right, what's a TLDR? And you're like, well, if you do good stuff happens to you.
Mm,
And they're like, oh wow, that's amazing. But it's true. It is true.
Yeah, it is.
I like how you
You know?
put it. You're increasing the climate vibe. I
Yeah.
put vibe in there. That's a
Yeah.
good way to put it.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all, I have a fever, and it's really starting to kick my ass. So
Really?
yeah, I took a leave, but I haven't been drinking any water. because I didn't
Oh,
want
boy.
to like take a million bathroom breaks. So I think I need to wrap it up for tonight. It's
Oh
I've
wow,
been
it's early,
been
but
missing out on sleep too, and it's not
no
super
worries, man.
late. It's not. I'm sorry. Our chat room is mostly empty, Joe. But I see you in the chat. Joe, did you have something you wanted to put in?
I wanted to quickly mention something about a discussion that was earlier. Remember this discussion about crystals?
Yes.
Do you remember coming to the store and me having this one big honking crystal and one little small crystal, and handing both of them to whoever walked in and ask them, what's the difference between these crystals?
I I I honestly I don't remember that. It's been a
Okay,
long
well,
time. Beaver. Go ahead.
the one crystal came from Texas Instruments. When you picked it up, it was room temperature. The real crystal from the ground feels cold. It's the ability to feel the energy, and the real crystal. They're both real crystals, but the man fused crystal because they took crystal and fused it to make it what they wanted, and this was failed calculator chips. But the natural crystal was endothermic. It absorbed energy so that later, when you tried to use it, it had the energy to help you. The man-made crystal was just, hi, I'm the dog.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I just wanted to mention that.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to get into crystals, but go ahead.
Blessed be. Have a good day.
I'm
Yeah,
falling out over here. I'm starting to wander. My attention's starting to wander, and I feel really hot. So
Yeah, I'm pretty sleep deprived, to be honest.
okay.
Well, great chatting with you guys tonight.
Yeah. I'm
I-
sorry, it's not a longer
I'm taking a
show.
lot. No, go ahead, sweat it, dude. I'm taking a lot with me tonight from the chat, and you guys all know how to get a hold of me. I'm always around. And
Yeah, man.
Okay.
You have to
I
dig
hope you
through
guys
those. You have to dig through those stitching books in order to find the thing about the craft.
have the tip.
And
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have like the first 5 or 6, and I'll break them out and put them on the stack of things I have to go through.
Yeah.
if he wasn't trying to impress the archaeologist at the same time he was trying to give his view of the alien influences, things would have been easier to read. But he tried to make it too academic sounding at the same time, and it's hard to get through Shadow. It's really just a boring read.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was. I didn't find it boring. I found it getting like more and more complicated with the different names and trying to remember all these people. It was like trying to read the Silmarillion by Tolkien. It was just so many names I couldn't pronounce, so it was hard to. Not that their names were hard to pronounce, but it was like that. There were so many characters that I
You mean
couldn't get a hold of.
Rishtakal's name is not hard to pronounce? I had a hard time with that.
The first book was enough to get me to buy all the rest of the books. A couple of people said you got to read this book, and I'm glad I did. And I forget which one I stopped at, but I'm sure the bookmark's still there.
All right. Well, everybody have a good evening. Blessed be all.
Have a great week, guys. Can't wait to see you guys next Saturday. Oh
Yeah,
man,
hopefully-
let's stay positive this week.
Oh
Hey
yeah,
Shadow,
always.
if you want to keep talking, just jump in the voice channel on GM Fritz's Discord if you feel like it. But otherwise, I'll catch you guys later.
Well, whoa! Don't you know the secret? We can still talk even after Nathan leaves.
Oh, really?
Backstage.
Yeah, dude.
Ooh.
You don't have to
Yeah.
be here, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
like leave the room for a minute, but not the chat. So
Right.
keep it quantum, everybody. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. Sorry I had to end it so quick and kind of abruptly, but it has been 2 hours or more.
No, get better,
And
Nathan. Rest up.
it's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know what's
Yeah.
going on with me. The fever
Get
is
some
the only
soup,
thing.
man. Get
Yeah.
some soup.
Yeah, I need
Yeah.
to go back to the water temple. Grab some of that.
Mm.
Should have done that. All right. Peace, y'all.
Have a great
And
week,
keep it
everybody.
quantum.
See you guys.
All right.
Thanks again.
Come on.